Welcome again to Prizefights podcast, where we keep tabs on the big bouts. I'm Josh, and today we talk about Pacquiao Bradley, which is coming in June. Listen to the previous podcast to hear my thoughts on the, once again, Pacquiao Mayweather debacle and why we may never get that fight. But let's talk about Pacquiao and Bradley for a minute. I think a lot of people think that Manny Pacquiao is declining. That could be the case. Skip Bayless from ESPN takes an interesting position, which I disagree with, but after the Pacquiao-Marquez 3 fight, Skip actually said that Pacquiao, one, clearly won the fight, and two, that he was actually dogging it a little bit in order to lure Mayweather in to thinking that he was losing his game and accepting a fight with him. One, I think that that's the third fight Pacquiao lost against Marquez. I don't see how you can watch those fights, use your scorecard, score every round, and have Marquez losing. I thought the third fight was Marquez's most victorious. I thought that was his most compelling case. What are you looking for to determine a winner? What I look for is who looks confused, whose head is snapping back, who is doing what with whom. Marquez was dominating the whole time, counterpunching. When did you ever see Marquez losing his balance because he was getting thundered by Pacquiao? You saw the opposite against Pacquiao. Pacquiao looked confused. His head's always snapping back from the counterpunches. He's not having his way. Marquez had his way. And these boxing acupunch statistics, whatever you call them, that's hard to believe that Pacquiao landed that many more jabs and power shots than Marquez. At least I didn't see that. And if he did, they didn't seem to be very effective because, again, who had stability, balance, and confidence, and who was doing their will in that fight? Juan Manuel Marquez for the third time. It's a sad thing that happened, but of course we have to have hope that a future mega fight between Pacquiao and Mayweather will happen, and you can't have the golden goose laying an egg, as it were, before that fight happens. Pacquiao had to win that fight, and he did. And this bit about him dogging it in order to lure Mayweather in, I just don't buy that, Skip. I don't know where that comes from. I think that there might have been other reasons. Pacquiao had the cramping in the legs against Mosley, maybe something like that. Maybe it is regression of skill. It's anything but his tactic of luring Mayweather in. I don't know who dogs a fight. If you were dogging a fight, why would you let it get that close? Even Freddie Roach in the middle round said, "We got to pick it up, son. This is close." He was right. It was close. Pacquiao knew it was close. Everyone knew it was close. Why would you dog it and make it that close? That's ridiculous. So maybe his skills have been regressing. I don't know. I still think Pacquiao is a tremendous fighter, and he's got a few good ones left in him. I think that he wins this fight against Timothy Bradley, even though a lot of people are giving Bradley more of a chance to win Pacquiao than they are Cotto to win Mayweather. I think that the Timothy Bradley has never experienced. This is a big jump for Timothy Bradley. I know he's fought Devin Alexander, but as we saw, Devin Alexander really isn't the prize fighter we thought he was. He's fighting Manny Pacquiao, the arguably best pound-for-pound boxer on the planet. And Timothy Bradley hasn't had anywhere near that competition until June. And he'll find out that the angles, the speed, the tenacity, and the hard punching of Pacquiao is hard to deal with, just like Cotto found out a few years ago. If Bradley were an excellent counterpuncher like a Floyd Mayweather or like a Juan Manuel Marquez, I'd say, yeah, he has a good chance. But he's not a really good counterpuncher. He's an offensive guy. He comes at you. He uses the head, which may be the biggest cause of concern for Pacquiao, but he comes at you like Ricky Hatton did. Second round KO. So I think this fight is not as interesting as the Mayweather-Cotto fight. I think it ends a lot sooner. I think that it might be competitive for 3 or 4 rounds, but Pacquiao, I believe, is going to knock this guy out. And that's that. What are the arguments for Tim Bradley? The arguments for him are that he has a tremendous heart, that he is a skilled boxer, that he has a hard noggin and uses the headbutt a lot. Take nothing away from him. He's an undefeated champion at 140. I think those are good arguments to use in favor of a Bradley win if he's fighting at 140 and not fighting someone at the caliber of Manny Pacquiao. One, he's fighting Pacquiao. Two, he's not fighting at the weight class in which he's most comfortable. He's fighting at 147, and this is going to be a challenge for him. He has not fought anyone with the kind of power. Let's take away Pacquiao's speed. You're still at 147 with big punchers, and you're facing probably the biggest puncher at 147 in Manny Pacquiao. I think he gets hurt. I think he gets touched up quite a bit and doesn't find a way to recover. But I'd like to see a competitive fight. And there's also this to remember. The same thing that happened with Marquez Pacquiao 3. Pacquiao can't lose. He has to be available without a recent loss for the potential Mayweather fight. Most people think Mayweather can win that fight on skill alone. Then they think Pacquiao can win his Bradley fight on skill alone. But this judges factor just makes it more interesting to watch the Cotto Mayweather fight. So if the fight's close, Pacquiao wins. That's unfortunate, but it's also another reason why I think the Mayweather-Cotto fight is more interesting and will sell a lot more tickets and pay-per-view purchases. I'd love your thoughts on this. Maybe I'm missing the boat on Pacquiao-Bradley, but if you guys think I'm wrong and that Bradley has an advantage somehow, let me know. Leave some comments. Thanks again for listening to the Prizefights podcast. We'll see you next time.